all the time, as well as fun.
Out here, nothing starts scary. It's just a normal drive or a quiet cabin stay. Then you're suddenly intercepting a violent tornado, or catching a stranger staring through your window from the darkness. These videos capture the exact moment safety disappears. If you were there, would you realize the danger in time? At first, the day feels routine. Campers and storm chasers move through Tornado Alley under normal conditions, with no clear sign that anything dangerous is about to happen. Though the atmosphere slowly begins to feel tense and unsettled. The footage, shared on Reed Timmer's Instagram, captures the moment storm chasers inside the Dominator 3 intercept a massive tornado as it forms. Instruments record wind speeds reaching 120 miles per hour inside the suction core at the exact moment the tornado touches down.
Tower power flashes! Touching up right here! Debris in the car! This is somebody's house! We're gonna need to turn around, guys! Direct intercepted into the door! Direct intercepted into the door!
And as night approaches, the threat only grows closer. Some believe this came down to timing and location, while others note how quickly severe weather can change without warning. When danger builds this fast and there is nowhere to hide, would you know when to leave? During daylight, a group of campers travels through a remote jungle, exploring the area before night arrives. Everything seems normal at first, though the quiet surroundings begin to feel strangely tense. In footage posted on History Fuzz's TikTok, the camera captures rock formations that appear to resemble animals as the group moves along. A serpent-like shape, a bird's head, and later what looks like a giant caiman become visible as the angle changes.
Past the horn-nosed serpent on the left, and the team are just coming upon the bird's head. It looks like an eye with a bulbous back of the head and a beak towards the back of the caiman. There's the back.
Some viewers believe these shapes are the result of lighting and perspective, while others feel the environment itself makes them unsettling. If you notice patterns like this forming around you, would you keep going or decide to leave? At first, the day looks calm and ordinary. A family is spending time outdoors near a mountain waterfall, enjoying a quiet moment together. But there is a strange feeling that something nearby does not belong, as if the place is not as safe as it seems. The footage, shared on the Instagram account Haley_country_mom, shows the moment they notice a crocodile on the slope in front of them. The animal is clearly visible, with its mouth open, close enough to turn a peaceful scene into sudden danger. Some believe the angle and distance made the situation feel worse than it was, while others think the area may be a natural path for wildlife. If one crocodile appeared so close without warning, would you have stayed calm or left immediately? In footage shared on Zach Lake Powell's Instagram, a group of young campers settles into a narrow valley between two steep mountains, surrounded by cliffs and massive rocks, a place that looks exciting yet strangely confined, as if there is little room for error. The video shows rain suddenly pouring down as water rushes from both mountain slopes into the valley.
Did we see that on our way in?
This wasn't the plan.
The narrow space begins to fill rapidly, forcing the group to scramble toward higher ground before the area becomes completely trapped. Some believe the valley's shape and terrain caused the water to build so fast, while others point to how sudden weather changes can overwhelm enclosed spaces. When nature turns this quickly and escape paths disappear, would you recognize the danger in time to react? Late at night, while camping alone in the woods, the man lay still inside his tent as usual, unaware that he was about to experience a moment straight out of a nightmare. Strange movement began circling the tent, slowly moving around him in the darkness.
All the time, as well as
Turn off the light, turn off the light, turn off the light.
that was weird. What are the odds something just walks next to us?
Okay, got it.
Whatever was outside came so close that he could almost feel it pressing against the thin fabric of the tent. He didn't dare move or breathe too loudly, choosing to stay completely still and hope that whatever was watching him would leave. Time felt endless until the sounds finally faded away. It could have been an animal, a person, or something harder to explain. When you're alone in the dark, is silence really enough to keep you safe? Something intense unfolded while this group was out on a river, simply cruising and enjoying the ride, when a massive hippo suddenly burst from the water and charged straight toward their boat. It wasn't just following them, it was chasing aggressively, as if it meant to flip the entire boat over. And panic set in almost instantly. The only thing separating them from disaster was the speed of their small boat, and thankfully, it was just fast enough for the hippo's enormous body to begin falling behind. Eventually, the angry giant disappeared back into the water, and the group escaped unharmed. But if it had closed the distance, what would have happened if a creature that powerful had made contact? Leonardo was live streaming late at night in Mexicali, Mexico, when something unsettling appeared behind him on camera. At first, it was barely noticeable, easy to miss in the darkness. But then, it began to move in a way that felt unnatural. As the stream continued, Leonardo struggled to keep his composure, clearly shaken by what he was seeing.
Lo voy a hacer en vivo porque luego dicen, ya me asustó el gato, lo dicen que es mentira. No sé si cansan a mirar ustedes, pero mira, me arrimo. Mira, mira, mira. Se mira, ¿es eso?
In the background, a strange, shadowy figure seemed to shift on its own, changing position without any clear cause. It didn't look like it belonged there at all, standing out against the stillness of the surroundings. The movement was subtle, but enough to draw attention once it was noticed.
Mira, se mete. Y no son rateros porque ya corrí para atrás, me metí con la troca y cada vez que me arrimo,
Leonardo insisted that it was not a person. Whatever appeared on the live stream was something he couldn't explain. Was it a trick of shadows and lighting, or something else entirely caught on camera when no one was supposed to be watching? In 1998, a family went hiking in the Dakang Mountains near Taichung, an area long whispered about by locals for sightings of a mysterious girl said to bring misfortune. Wanting to capture memories of their trip, the family filmed their hike, unaware that the footage would later take on a far darker meaning. Not long after the hike, tragedy struck. One family member died, and another soon became seriously ill before passing away as well. When relatives later reviewed the recorded footage, they noticed something deeply unsettling. In the background of the video, a small girl dressed in red appeared, her face dark and obscured. No one remembered seeing her during the hike. Even more disturbing, one of the deceased family members appeared on camera with sharp, fang-like teeth, despite having normal teeth in real life. Searching for answers, the family submitted the tape to a paranormal television program. Investigators spoke with locals, monks, and experts, but no one could identify the girl. One boy claimed he once tried to follow her into the forest, only for her to vanish without a trace. The story spread across Taiwan as the legend of the little girl in red, and later inspired the 2015 horror film The Tag Along. While hiking deep in the woods, this camper suddenly heard gunshots echo through the trees. No hunters were visible, only sharp cracks of gunfire coming from an unusual direction off the trail, leaving him frozen and unsure whether to turn back or continue.
There it goes again. It's gonna be 4. And so it's like a really weird place to shoot. I think the trail goes that way. But I have like a weird feeling. Why the fuck are you shooting right off trail? Only 4 shots. Maybe he only has a 4-shot gun. I can hear him moving. It's not. It's like sketched out, like a little weirded out.
Eventually, the forest went quiet again, and he continued toward his campsite, hoping the rest of the trip would remain calm. But later that night, something unexpected happened. A goat wandered directly into his camp and refused to leave.
I've been here for like 6 hours, and this is now the second time I've had this guy here. Hey goat. Hey goat. How you doing, bud? What you doing here, man? What's going on? Why do you keep coming back? Bro, I'm trying to scare you out of here. I have a fire and everything. I'm sorry, man.
Even after being scared away multiple times, it kept returning, standing nearby and watching as if it belonged there. Some believe the gunshots may have disturbed wildlife in the area, while others think the strange behavior was just coincidence. After hearing gunfire and being watched all night, would you stay another night in a forest like that? At night, deep inside Bohemian Grove, a strange scene unfolds. The setting is dark and quiet, but the atmosphere feels heavy, as if something serious is about to happen out of view. Recently surfaced footage shows men dressed in long robes moving through the darkness with torches burning behind them. Armed guards stand watch with bows and swords. Above them is an altar and a massive stone owl. The robed figures disappear into the shadows, then return carrying something unclear. They place it onto a small boat as flames flicker and chanting continues, before the footage suddenly cuts to black. Some believe it was only a symbolic ritual, while others question whether something more disturbing was taking place. If no one can clearly explain what was carried that night, what do you think was really happening? A lone hiker was moving through a quiet stretch of the Appalachian woods when the trail suddenly felt unnaturally still. He heard a soft voice nearby, but saw no movement, no footprints, and no sign of anyone else. With his heart racing, he turned and ran. The footage later appeared online, suggesting he escaped safely. Some think it was a trick of sound or the forest itself. If nothing was there, what do you think shared the trail with him? They were hiking at night, moving through thick bushes where shadows gathered around them. The group stayed close, tense with every sound, until they noticed something red far ahead and zoomed in to see it clearly. At first it didn't move. Then it suddenly shot upward, rising in a way that looked human or almost angelic. Panic followed, and no one could tell if it stayed behind or moved closer in the darkness. Some think it was a trick of distance or lighting, while others aren't so sure. If you saw something rise like that at night, would you keep watching or leave immediately? Deep in the woods, mountains rose like jagged teeth, their slopes facing each other and casting long shadows as the light faded. Between them, a narrow staircase descended, worn and uneven, disappearing into the darkness below. A woman stepped down carefully, 1 foot at a time, the planks creaking under her weight. The forest was silent, but the height made every step feel dangerous. One slip could mean falling into the shadows beneath. Fear hung in the air as every sound from the trees made hearts race. Curiosity pushed forward even as panic held tight. Whatever waited at the bottom, reaching it safely felt far from certain. 2 men approached a dark opening, its edges slick and narrow. Water trickled from deep inside, forming small streams that glistened under their lights. They could see where the water flowed, winding through the rock like veins in something alive. Carefully, they stepped inside, moving through shallow, icy water, one cautious step at a time. At first, the passage seemed ordinary, but the thought lingered. What if it wasn't? What if they became stuck halfway, trapped inside the tight, water-filled shaft? A hiker forced himself into a narrow cave wedged between massive rocks, the space tightening around his shoulders and chest. The air was cold and damp, and every sound echoed too loudly.
It's fun. Let's go.
Making the passage feel even more confined. As he moved deeper, panic set in. There was barely room to move, and the thought of getting stuck took hold. In the darkness, his mind filled with images of something sharp or alive brushing against him. When fear starts to grow faster than reason, would you keep going or try to escape while you still can? A woman sets up camp alone deep in the woods, planning to spend the night surrounded by silence and darkness. But as the hours pass, the stillness begins to feel unnatural, as if the forest itself is holding its breath. The footage, shared on Real D's Dark Adventures on TikTok, shows the moment she steps outside her tent late at night and scans the trees with a flashlight. The beam suddenly catches a massive shape staring back at her, unmoving and unhidden, with eyes reflecting the light.
It's the same one. That's big, guys. That's big. I'm telling you, if it stands up. That's big. That's big. That's big. I don't know how. That's big. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. Guys, those eyes got like a foot. Okay.
It appears far larger than any animal she can recognize, and the distance between them feels dangerously close. Some believe lighting and depth can distort size in the dark, while others point to how unfamiliar shapes can feel threatening at night. If something was watching you before you noticed it, would you still think it was just another camping trip? Fahad MK went camping deep inside a dense forest. During the day, the area looked thick and overgrown, filled with shadows. He rode his bike through the forest searching for a good campsite, then climbed a tall tree to check the surroundings. While looking down, he heard a sudden sound. A tiger was hiding below, watching the exact spot he planned to camp. Fahad realized that climbing down could put him in immediate danger. Fear set in as the forest instantly turned from peaceful to deadly. The encounter left him shaken and served as a harsh reminder that predators can appear without warning. In the wild, danger can stay hidden until it's too close. Knowing that, would you still camp in a place like this? This Reddit user was out hiking when he came across something deeply unsettling. In the middle of the quiet woods, tucked inside a hollow tree, he discovered a large dried fish head sitting there, as if it had been placed on purpose. It didn't make sense why anyone would carry something like that deep into the forest and hide it inside a tree. Some believe it could have been a strange prank or an object left for a specific reason, while others think it may have meant something more symbolic. If you found it, would you keep walking or leave immediately? This disturbing clip was shared on Neo's Nemo Styles Instagram. A small group of friends went camping deep inside a dense forest as night slowly settled around them. Dry leaves covered the ground and the woods felt quiet, almost unnaturally so. They set up their tents in a small clearing on a slight rise, believing it would be a safe place to spend the night. Without warning, the darkness filled with terrifying and unexplained sounds. Screams, growls, and howls echoed through the trees. The friends froze, their hearts racing, unable to tell whether what they were hearing came from a person, an animal, or something else entirely. Some think it could have been wildlife or strange echoes in the forest, while others aren't convinced it was something ordinary. When every sound turns into a threat after dark, would you stay in the woods if you heard something that didn't feel real? A hiker exploring the Devil's Tree in Port St. Lucie came across a deeply unsettling scene.
Is there a bunch of pictures out here with people's names on them? Kevin, Erica Canty. I'm in the Devil's Tree forest. This is really weird.
Scattered around the twisted roots of the tree were photographs of strangers, spread across the ground in no clear order. Some of the photos were torn, others burned along the edges, and several had names written across them. The placement felt deliberate, as if the images had been arranged with purpose rather than left behind by accident. The discovery raised disturbing questions about who brought them there and why they were placed in such an isolated spot. When personal items appear deep in the woods like this, would you see it as coincidence or something meant to be found? While hiking deep in the forest, this person spotted something that made him stop. At first it looked like a normal tree, but up close, the bark formed the shape of a skull with hollow eyes, a nose, and teeth. It felt like a face trapped inside the wood, silently watching. He took a photo and shared it online, where people quickly began asking questions. Some think it was a natural growth or disease, while others aren't so sure. If a tree looked like it was staring back at you, what would you think it really was? A TikTok user noticed something strange on their porch when a large spider claimed one corner as its territory. At first it seemed ordinary, until one day the wind chime suddenly stopped making noise. Curious, they went to check what had happened. What they found was unexpected.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this. I got this spider lives in the corner of my porch. And I guess my wind chime was bothering him, because he done tied my wind chime up, y'all, to the house and to that.
Somehow the spider had wrapped it up completely, almost as if the constant sound had been bothering it, and it found a way to stop it. If something like this appeared on your porch, would you see it as coincidence or something more intentional? While hiking along a quiet forest trail, she suddenly froze. Hanging from a tree branch was something unsettling. A strange figure made of sticks and dried husks, wrapped with a red cloth, swayed gently in the breeze. It looked deliberate, almost as if it had been placed there to be noticed. She didn't touch it. Instead, she recorded what she saw and continued down the trail, her heart racing. After posting the video online, viewers pointed out that it resembled a handmade corn husk doll, something some believe is meant to ward off spirits or invite them. But who put it there, and why leave it deep in the woods? If you came across something like this, would you stop to investigate or walk away immediately? He was walking alone through the forest, the surroundings so quiet that he could hear only his own footsteps. Suddenly, he noticed warning signs that felt deeply unsettling. Fresh blood smeared along the trail. Even though fear set in, he continued moving forward. Ahead, something appeared in the darkness.
Kepalanya tuh lawan. Astagfirullah. 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 Allahumma sholli ala sayyidina kepala. Allahu Akbar.
It looked dark, twisted, and seemed to move among the trees, sending the man into panic. The video ends without any explanation. Do you think it was only the trail of an injured animal or something he was never meant to encounter? While hiking late at night, a man suddenly noticed something unsettling ahead.
Things you don't want to see looking at you at night. See the eyes? Yep.
Deep in the darkness, a pair of glowing eyes appeared to be staring straight back at him. With his heart pounding, he slowly moved closer. As the distance closed, the fear began to fade. The eyes belonged to a small group of deer standing quietly beside the trail, their gaze reflecting the light as they calmly watched him pass. In moments like that, when your mind fills in the gaps before you know the truth, would you trust your instincts or stop to look again? This person's mother was out hiking when she came across something she had never seen before. A group of large, shaggy animals was moving calmly across the trail. Confused and amazed, she took out her phone to record the moment, knowing she might never see anything like it again. After the video was shared online, viewers quickly identified the animals as Scottish Highland cattle. They are known for their long horns and thick, fluffy coats, and are considered one of the oldest cattle breeds in the world, originally from the rugged highlands of Scotland. If you turned a corner and saw something like that standing in your path, would you step closer for a better look, or slowly move away? This hiker took on one of the most frightening trails imaginable, a narrow mountain ridge with sheer drops on both sides. The crest was so thin that a single wrong step could lead to disaster. The jagged, rocky path demanded complete focus, turning every move into a test of balance and nerve. Instead of turning back, he kept going, pulled forward by the rush and the terrifying beauty stretching far below. Every gust of wind and every shift of loose rock made his heart pound faster. It was stunning and dangerous at the same time. Some say moments like this sharpen the mind, while others see only risk. Would you walk a trail where one small mistake could be fatal? During a routine hike, this man never expected his calm walk to turn into a heart-stopping moment. Without warning, a massive alligator, far larger than anything he had ever seen, moved directly across his trail. It was huge, powerful, and close enough that he could hear its claws scraping against the ground. He chose to record the moment instead of risking a single wrong move. Thankfully, the giant animal turned toward the lake beside the trail and slipped beneath the water, disappearing from sight. Moments like this show how quickly a normal hike can change when wildlife appears without warning. Would you know how to react if it didn't walk away? This Reddit user believed she was in for a calm camping night until everything suddenly shifted. Around midnight, she heard heavy footsteps outside her tent, slow, deep, and deliberate. When she carefully looked through the thin fabric, her heart almost stopped. A massive bear had stepped out of the woods, moving around the campsite as if searching for something. All she could do was remain silent, hoping the animal wouldn't catch her scent. Encounters like this can come down to chance, wind, or timing. But in moments that quiet, fear takes over fast. While this hiker was miles deep into the forest, far from any trailheads or other people, he came across something deeply unsettling. Hanging from a tree was a small wooden cabin. Inside were two eerie dolls facing outward, positioned as if they were watching the woods. Questions filled his mind about who placed the dolls there and what they were meant to observe. Whether it was a warning, a ritual, or a prank taken too far, the feeling of being observed didn't fade. From that moment on, what began as a calm hike turned into a tense journey back to safety. If you found something like that deep in the woods, would you keep going or leave immediately? In 2018, a hiker recorded something unsettling while moving through the woods. The figure in the footage crawled on all fours, completely hairless, moving in a way that felt unnatural.
Stop, Holden.
It didn't resemble any animal most people were familiar with. Many claimed it was evidence of a legendary creature, such as the skunk ape. But later, the creature was identified as a weak black bear suffering from extreme hair loss, likely caused by mange or another serious skin condition. Still, encountering something like that unexpectedly would shake anyone. If you saw a hairless figure crawling through the woods, would your first thought really be a sick animal? a group of hikers decided to try a giant swing, a risky activity where a rope catches you as you fall over the forest floor. One by one, they climbed up and jumped, trusting the harness to hold. But the danger was always there. A single mistake, a failed rope, or someone losing control could change everything in seconds. The snacks they brought sat forgotten below, silent signs of the risk above. When your safety depends on one rope, would you still take the jump? He is hiking at night, filming his path through thick woods and tangled bushes. Every rustle and shadow feels amplified, and the camera shakes slightly as tension builds. He stops and slowly turns. In front of him, a massive shape looms in the darkness. He can't tell what it is, and panic takes over. Moments later, everything goes silent. The footage ends without answers. It could have been an animal or a trick of the dark. But if you saw something like that at night, would you stay to find out? A Reddit user recently shared an old photo their grandmother took years ago at Gettysburg Cemetery, and it quickly sparked debate. The user believes it's likely just a sun flare, but many viewers aren't convinced. In the image, a strange figure appears to hover above a gravestone, resembling a bald man's spirit. Some say it looks too modern, like someone wearing a jacket and jeans, while others think it resembles an old uniform. Most agree it's probably a trick of light, yet once you see it, it's hard to ignore. What do you think the photo really shows? The woman stepped carefully onto the wooden bridge as the planks swayed beneath her. The ropes creaked under her weight, making every step feel uncertain. Panic showed on her face as she moved forward, fearing the bridge might give way at any second. Her heart pounded, hands gripping the ropes tightly, imagining a plank snapping and a fall onto the rocks below. When she finally reached the other side, relief set in. Still, it left one thought behind. What could have happened if the bridge had failed halfway across? A Reddit user recently shared a chilling clip of a raven, and it immediately unsettled viewers. The bird clearly mimics human speech and even ends with what sounds like laughter, which many people found deeply disturbing. It felt less like listening to a bird, and more like hearing something human trapped inside an animal, or something trying to imitate people.
Харусь, ты меня перебиваешь. Ты в курсе?
Конечно.
Конечно.
There is a rational explanation. Like parrots, ravens are extremely intelligent and have advanced vocal abilities. When they are exposed to human voices often enough, they can learn to copy words, tones, and even laughter. Still, hearing this from a raven feels far more unsettling than from a parrot. If you encountered something like this alone in the wild, would you stay calm? And what do you think it was really trying to say? Picture hikers camping on a cliff as a storm rolls in. The wind howls, rain lashes down, and the rock beneath their boots turns slick. They're suspended at the edge, a rope tied back to camp, stretching and straining with every violent gust. Each thunderclap hits the chest like a warning. What if the rope gives out? What if someone slips and disappears into the darkness below? Panic builds fast, sharp enough to feel physical. For now, the rope holds. But the fear doesn't fade. In moments like this, every second becomes a choice between trust and terror. A man stood on a mountainside attempting a precision jump, carefully stepping along narrow iron rods. Each move demanded perfect balance and focus. Halfway through, he slipped and plunged toward the river below, hitting the water hard and landing awkwardly on his leg. In that moment, everything could have gone wrong. One mistake, one injury, and the situation could have turned into disaster. When risk and control are that close, how much can skill really protect you? A couple believed they had found peace after moving into a secluded home deep in the Appalachian mountains. Not long after settling in, that calm began to fade. Strange sounds echoed through the woods, and voices seemed to carry from places where no one should have been.
POV, you moved into a house in the Appalachian mountains and woke up to this the next morning.
Their dogs, usually relaxed, became uneasy, staring into the darkness and refusing to settle. Then came the moment that changed everything. One morning, they noticed a face pressed into the condensation on their back door window, clear enough to show someone had been standing there, silently watching from outside. In a place so remote and isolated, the realization was chilling. It could have been a trick of light or moisture, but if no one was supposed to be there, who was watching them? A man stepped carefully onto a bridge at the edge of a cliff. It looked part bridge, part ladder, with steps disappearing into the mist ahead. He couldn't see where it began or ended. The structure swayed with every move, sending panic through him. Others crossed too, each step slow and tense. One slip, one weak moment, and the fall would be unavoidable. Every shaky plank reminded him how thin the line was between balance and disaster. A man was filming himself while walking along a narrow rock path high above the ground. The area felt dangerously exposed, with nothing on either side but empty space. The footage shows how small the path really was, where one wrong step could mean a fall. He kept his eyes forward and moved slowly, taking each step with care. Some say focus is the only way to control fear in places like this. If you were standing there, would you trust yourself to keep going? A group of hikers was climbing down a steep, mist-covered mountain with sheer drops on every side. The height alone made each step feel dangerous. The footage shows them moving slowly, gripping rocks and vines as they search for footing. Fear is clear in every movement, yet they keep going. Some see it as a test of focus, others as unnecessary risk. If you were there, would you keep climbing down or turn back? Snow covered a mountain staircase, turning each step into a hidden patch of ice. Two hikers were climbing up, one just a short distance ahead of the other, with the cold wind making the climb feel tense and risky. In the footage, the hiker in front suddenly slipped and began sliding down. In seconds, he crashed into the person behind him, and both started sliding together on the narrow, steep stairs. Nearby, hikers rushed in and managed to grab them, stopping a much worse fall. Some say the ice and steep angle caused the slip, while others point to how quickly small mistakes grow dangerous in these conditions. If no one had been there to help, how do you think this would have ended? A man filmed himself descending a long, narrow staircase with uneven steps leading into thick bushes below. People moved slowly in front of him, one careful step at a time. Every glance downward made the risk feel real. One slip could send everyone falling. Some think the danger came from the height, others from moving so close together. If you were there, would you keep going or stop before it got worse? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.